Hello everyone! I'm so glad that you're here for my third. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Katie, and this is my monthly TBR game that I have called Bookish Blossoms. This is the third round for the month of March, and I am nervous. I'm probably moving this month, not across the country, but out of state. So, one of the rules for my TBR game is that if I finish all of my prompts, I get to pick a reward that I start with. If I don't finish my prompts, I start with a punishment. And I am very, very happy to say that I finished all of my prompts for the month of February. So I'm going to be picking a reward. And I just want to clarify, I have to use it this month. If I don't use the reward this month, it's gone. It's like it never existed. Here is my reward jar. Let's see what I get. Okay. Okay, cool. I get to buy a bookish accessory for myself. Maybe I'll find something at my local bookstore. Maybe I'll buy something off of Etsy. Before we start our rolls for the month of March and we get to the good part, I'm going to actually throw up some images in the video, let you know how many rolls I got, what the prompts were, and let you know which book I chose for which prompt. During my TBR game videos, I'm not going to go into detail about what I thought about the books that I read during the previous month. I'm just gonna let you know what I read, what the prompts were. I just made my first wrap-up video for the month of January, and after this video comes out, I'm going to be filming my wrap-up video for the month of February. But if knowing what I think after I read the books that I get for my TBR game, if that's really important to you, please stay tuned for the monthly wrap-up. I think that's everything. So let's start our rolls for the month of March. Roll number 1. That is a 3. 1, 2, 3. For our first roll, we got a yellow flower, which is the first time that's ever happened. And if I get a yellow flower, that means that I need to read a collection of poetry or a play, something like that. So I decided to pick up James Baldwin's poetry collection that I bought like 9 months ago. It's Jimmy's Blues and Other Poems. I have only ever read The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin, and I adored it. It's one of my favorite books of all time. When I was reading The Fire Next Time, I got the sense that James Baldwin would be a really incredible poet. So I'm really excited. I'm so excited to read this. I love poetry. I'm so excited to get this on my TBR for the month of March. Roll number 2. That is an 11, if it ever focuses.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Blue flowers means a classic or literary fiction. For my second roll, I got a classic novel or a literary fiction. I decided to read The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I believe, again, it's either this or Dracula. I think this is my best friend's favorite book. She's a huge horror fan, and I would really love to read this book and talk to her about it. This is also just a huge gap in my literary knowledge. I have never read an Oscar Wilde novel before. I really want to give this a shot. I'm I mean, it's the picture of Dorian Gray. If you don't know what it's about, it's magical, it's horrific. I think it's going to be a really great time. Oscar Wilde, great gay icon. It's not that long. It's under 300 pages in length. I think I'm going to get through it pretty quickly. I'm really excited to read this for the month of March. Roll number 3. And that's a 2. 1, 2. Succulents means a horror novel. Our third roll was a horror prompt. And so I decided to choose The Upstairs House by Julia Fine. This is about a woman who becomes a mother. She's taking care of her newborn baby. I believe this is a metaphor for postpartum depression. I didn't struggle with postpartum depression after I had my child, but I understand the crushing weight of feeling like you're all alone in taking care of this precious, fragile, new human life, especially when your partner is away traveling, which my partner did the first couple months that our child was born. It was really difficult. And I think that this book is going to really speak to me. But the twist with this book, why it's a horror novel, is there is a woman who comes and rents the upstairs room in her home, but no one else can see this woman. This book honestly sounds like my jam. Like, I love a ghost story. I love a haunted house. This is about a new mom who's struggling with her kid when her partner is away traveling. This is what I'm going to read for my horror prompt for the month of March. All right, this is roll number 4. That is a 15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
That's a nonfiction. I got a nonfiction space, so I am actually going to read with my child Sometimes People March by Tessa Allen. This is a book explaining to children why people march. What are the reasons people march? How do people march? It looks like from the art, this is going to be a very beautiful book. It's going to be a very inclusive book. The exact kind of book that I really try to prioritize reading with my child. I'm very excited to read this to my child. I will probably cry. It's just probably what's going to happen. So I'll be reading this for my nonfiction prompt in March. All right, this is roll number 5. That's a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another greenery. That means another nonfiction. So I got another nonfiction space, and I decided I am going to read I Can't Date Jesus by Michael Arsenault. This is a memoir collection of essays. The subtitle of this book is really fun. Love, Sex, Family, Race, and Other Reasons I've Put My Faith in Beyonce. I think this is going to be really fun. I picked this up at actually the same bookstore I picked up the James Baldwin poetry collection. I'm really excited to learn about Michael Arsenault, his life, his perspective. I'm always here for queer people talking about religion. It's one of my favorite things. So I am really excited. I think this is going to be really funny and approachable. It's going to be a really quick read and something that I am sure that I'm going to really enjoy. So this will be for my other nonfiction prompt in March. Roll number 6. That's a 13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
White Flower, mystery thriller. For my 6th roll, I got a mystery thriller prompt. So I'm going to read If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. What I've learned so far reading mystery thrillers is that sometimes the less you know, the better. You probably need to know that this is a thriller about Shakespeare. All of the main characters are putting on a Shakespeare play, and the roles that they're playing within the play spill out into their everyday lives. And then eventually someone goes to jail for a murder that he may or may not have committed. I don't know. I just know that it's about Shakespeare and there's murder and mayhem, and that's all I need personally to know before I jump into a mystery thriller. So I'm really excited to read this. I don't have a physical copy. I'm gonna have to either get it from my library. Maybe I can find an audiobook of it. I don't know. But I will do my best to read this for the month of March. This is roll number 7. And that's a 1. All right. 1. That means we're going to pull from the TBR deck. A 200 plus page length book. Cool. Roll number 7 was a TBR card, and I have to read a 200 plus page length book. So it just has to be over 200 pages, not anything too crazy, which I'm very grateful for the month of March. But I decided to prioritize reading this month for March, The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. This is a romance novel. Our 2 main characters in the romance novel. One is a guy who is the producer of a Bachelor-esque reality show. And then the second man in the couple is the Bachelor on said show. So they fall in love in the course of filming the show together, which sounds like it's going to be very difficult when that comes to light. I also don't have a physical copy of this book. I have an ebook from my library. The page length for this book is a little under 400 pages, so fulfilling the prompt, killing it. Okay, this is roll number 8. Hopefully this is the last one. And that's a 10. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So we ran out of spaces. So we get to pull one more from our TBR deck. We get to pull from the TBR jar. How exciting. This could be really bad. For our final roll, our 8th roll of the game, we landed on the last space, which is always going to be a TBR deck draw. And we pulled our first TBR jar card. So let me explain. So what kind of books are in this jar? There are 4 categories. The first one is I actually own a physical copy of the book. It's on my bookshelf right now. I could go get it from my living room. The second option is I own it on audiobook and I've owned it forever, but I've just never gotten around to listening to it. The third option is this is a book that has been on my TBR for quite a while. And it's not necessarily very long or very short. They vary depending on subject matter or genre or whatever. I just really want to get to it. I need a good kick in the pants to just get to it. That's the third option. The fourth option, unfortunately, I thought it would be a great idea to look at the longest books on my want to read shelf on Goodreads and put them all in here. And I mean 1,000 pages in length long. For example, Priory of the Orange Tree is in here. I have, I believe, a 900 page biography about Dietrich Bonhoeffer in here. This jar is going to be a wild card. I just thought having something that kind of put a monkey wrench into it, besides, you know, the dice being mean to me and refusing to roll high numbers, I wanted to put another, you know, sense of intrigue and drama in my game. And past Katie thought this was a great idea. Present Katie is not a fan of past Katie and is upset that I did this to myself. So hopefully I don't pull a 900-page book out of this TBR jar right now. Hopefully it is something short, something I can get through really quickly. We'll see. Okay, I'm closing my eyes because I'm just so scared. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. I can read this book. It's not going to be a fun read, but I can do it. Let me go get the book and show you. Once upon a time, my family went on vacation, and I love to go to museum bookstores and pick out books that are really specialized to the topic of the museum. So when I went to the Civil War Museum in Richmond, Virginia, I picked up this. This is a nonfiction book. Obviously, this is a history book, but thankfully, it's very short. And as you can see, it has a lot of graphs and pictures and photographs. So I think this will actually be a pretty quick read for me. It won't be a fun read. It's not a happy read, but it's something that I genuinely want to learn more about. Anyway, as my 8th roll for a TBR jar pick, I'm going to read The Richmond Slave Trade by Jack Trammell. So that's it. That's my rolls for the month of March. I hope that you had a fun time. I hope that I gave you some good recommendations. Let me know what you're reading for the month of March. What's on your TBR? I would always like to know what you're reading. Hopefully we can give each other some good recommendations. Thank you for being here today. Bye!